Magick. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, DK Prince, and sitting with me is my very special guest co-host, Mr. Bill Morton. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you very much. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, we're all having a good time here, and we are talking to Philip Patrick Page of the Amazon Prime show, and you can also find the clips on YouTube, Saving Ghosts. Welcome back, Philip. All right, you are answering us from the great beyond. Our mojo is working. Welcome.
Actually, if I may, I have a question for Bill.
Go ahead.
Bill, you have a varied background, it seems, and which I appreciate. I don't think anyone should be pigeonholed into one specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I may, what got you into paranormal and then segued into politics?
Well, I've got a lot of different interests, and the paranormal thing came well before any kind of political or community-based organization. I formed the Chicago Ghost Hunters group in October of 2008, and I led it for about 6 years. It was very interesting to me, and I had a couple friends who were really into it. So we went on different investigations. We went to Waverly Hills in Kentucky. We went to Mantino and got into some buildings we weren't supposed to be in, and it was a lot of fun doing our investigations, just like you do. And we also got calls from people who wanted help, and then we had somebody come in and do cleansings after we did our investigation. So I did that for about 6 years, and then I left the group in good hands with Ben Pavalon, and he was one of my ghost hunters. And it's kind of interesting. A lot of my ghost hunters became authors. One of them, Amelia Cotter, was on a ghost TV show, and all of that. And I'm very proud that after I left, the Chicago Ghost Hunter group went on and continued without me for at least 6 years, 5 or 6 years. 6 with me, 6 without me. And I think that it's really a testament to how we built it up and what we did. And we had like 600 members at some point in time. It was really great. Enthusiasts, skeptics, believers, and everything else in between. So that was really great. I left the group so I can form the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, because I was working with a friend from junior high school back in my hometown, and he owned a business, and it was going under because of it was retribution after he was doing some, he put up a 7-foot political sign for the incumbent alderman, against the incumbent alderman. And the alderman called him up and said, you got to take that down, and we decided we weren't going to take it down. Well, the day after the incumbent alderman won his re-election was Retribution Day. That's when he comes in with all the city inspectors to anybody who had a sign against him or for the opponent, and just charges it up. And this was Chris at Quest Network Services, a local computer repair shop. I've been there for many years. And they saw a surge protector, and they said it's a fire hazard. They said extension cord, that's a fire hazard. He had a decorative candle and like this mantle that was never lit. It was a fire hazard. There was no light bulb and a little exit sign, and this was like a very small shop. It was all a fire hazard. So it came out to be about $5,000. So we went to the alderman's office and said, you got to stop this. He goes, why would I stop this? I sent him. We went over to the Rogers Park Business Alliance. They said, well, we're with the alderman. We're not going to help you. And he said, well, we're a small business. Is that what you're supposed to do? We found out that there wasn't a Chamber of Commerce in the neighborhood, and that's why we formed the Chamber of Commerce. Now, 10 years later, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary, and I ran for alderman in the 49th Ward, and I did not win, and now I'm running for committeeman because I really care about my community. And I've seen a lot of tragedies, and I've seen a lot of bad things happen with the Chicago way, and I would like to change our neighborhood and the city of Chicago for the better, and I know I can do it.
I have a strong feeling, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just saying I have a strong feeling myself that actually I think that area, that particular venue of Chicago called to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not being from Chicago, I can't expect our listeners necessarily or Philip here to understand, but just like there is an old feeling to those neighborhoods. It is haunted like crazy. There is spirits to it. There is memory. There is something about that area that is special and different and unique and deserves protecting and needs a chance to grow, because it's really, I mean, it's just kind of the edge of Chicago before you hit Evanston, but in a lot of ways it's almost like a really small college town.
And that's the neighborhood of Rogers Park, the most diverse neighborhood in this entire city of Chicago.
I would have to agree. It is incredibly diverse, and it's not necessarily exclusive. I mean, the rent for the most part is still very manageable by most of the other city standards. Almost anybody could live there, and it's a beautiful thing. It's an interesting thing to live and be among when you live there.
And it's the close proximity to the lake. It's like there are more beaches.
Oh, I'm convinced there's a ley line there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an expert at it, but I can tell you the way you can tell